battle begins. Okay, so now after looking at the enemy's army, we go forward to look at the Christian army, God's army. Now in God's army, you can see that the people were not well armed. Those who were well armed were also not too ready. Aside that, you could come to the realization that few had the complete armor. Now when we talk about the armor of God, we are talking about the sword of the Spirit, the helmet of salvation, the shield of faith, and then the breastplate of righteousness. Okay, it usually says the gospel on our feet, with which we run with. Basically, these are the things that constitute a complete Christian who is marching in the army of the Lord. Now, the Christians were greatly outnumbered. The army of God was greatly outnumbered, and this should tell you that it looked devastating. And as much as possible, you see this in the Christian circles, because the arrows of the enemies are many, and you see a lot of Christians unprepared or partially prepared. And one thing you have to understand is that the more you get to know the truth, the more you grow in it. The belt of truth is also very, very useful. Now, Rejoinder recounts that there was another group of people marching behind the Christians. These were party Christians. Many people have made Christianity look like it is party. Fine, we want to have fun, we want to have joy and peace, but nothing can take away the fundamental doctrines. I repeat, in the midst of all this partying, all this eating, all these methods to draw people to church, let us not forget the core doctrines of salvation, the core doctrine of the resurrection, the core doctrine of studying the Word of God, of praying, of being diligent in the things of God. Now, this group of people who were partying behind, Rejoinder tried to caution them, but they cannot listen because they felt that is how Christianity is. That is the Christianity they came to meet. That Christianity, oh, you can do whatever you like. But my dear friend, you can't do whatever you like in Christianity. Even in your own home, if you're living with your mom and your dad, do you do what you like? How much more if you join an army where you say, I accept you as my Lord. If somebody is your Lord, it means you do what the person tells you to do. And that is the whole point. That is one thing a lot of Christians are missing. So fortunately, there was an angel that came and gave a trumpet that put everybody in order, so that those who were not ready were ready. Now the army was full of children and women. A lot of people serve God when they are young. A lot of people serve God when they are being led by others in that direction. But you realize that there are more women who do the work of God than men, interestingly. That is not to say that there were no men in the army of God. There will always be men, there will be women, but dominantly it was women and children in the things of God. Now the enemy arrows came in, and what happened was that slander, gossip, lies, all kinds of things came in. And it was at the verge of breaking down the Christian army. But some survived and some didn't. Now those who were wounded by these arrows, they were not willing to be helped by others. Now they're trailing more behind those Christians who I will call party Christians, who forget the fundamental doctrine. Those who were wounded were being carried away by the vultures, while those who were not wounded started trying to fight back, but the vultures were ignoring them because, many Christians fight without the truth, which is the Word of God. They fight without knowing how to pray, knowing what exactly to say for God to respond. And this was what this army was doing. But fortunately for them, they went back and did their homework. They went back and then quickly realigned themselves, went to study well. So that's why you see some Christians today, you see them, oh, these people are not serious, they think Christianity is a joke, but something will strike them. Sometimes things have to strike you for you to change dramatically in your life. So the more they study the Word of God, the more they tend to faith, hope, and love, the more these angels grew. So it is very important for us to take note of faith, hope, and love in their work in this great army. That is why one of the most important things in Christianity is faith, hope, and love, without which Christianity will be very difficult. Now let's go quickly to the highway. Okay. Now on the highway, you realize that the Christians over there, they did some remarkable things. They managed to discover the mountain of God, where they were climbing and ascending to God. And you realize that the mountain had its foundation of salvation and sanctification, and then it followed in that order. Now, as we go forward, we'll see other relevant places of the mountain. Alright, every level of the mountain had a specific truth. And the people talked among themselves when they saw this mountain to quickly go and start climbing. Immediately, wisdom showed up. Our ability to sit down in peace, in love, and to make decisions are truly helpful. And it is a clear sign of wisdom. So they marched forward strategically, okay? And the mountains were not that easy to climb because they looked very slippery. They were also very narrow. The ledges of the mountain were to climb. And each mountain represents a particular biblical truth. So as you are studying the Word of God, it is like you are climbing a mountain. That's what you need to understand. Then they made a very pathetic mistake. They started picking the arrows of the enemy to shoot. You realize that the best way to attack evil is not with evil. That is what a lot of Christians must understand. That two wrongs do not make a right. The fact that somebody has done bad to you doesn't mean you have to also do the same thing. A lot of the time people will say that, oh, okay, I don't want them to take me for granted. I don't want them to think that I'm a fool. It is not being a fool. It is seeing what is really at stake, which is the battle we are fighting. So they picked the enemy arrows and started shooting at the Christians. And the more they did this, the more the Christians started growing. Alright? So they had to make a decision as to whether some should go up and some should come down. And definitely, Rejoinder was part of those who should go up. So they started going up in that order. They got to a level called the unity of the brethren. At this level, the enemy arrows could not touch them. And that is how it is. If the Bible says that how beautiful it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the oil that runs down from Aaron's beard. If the people of God can unite, if we can make our mind that the enemy is not your fellow Christian, the enemy is not your brother, but the enemy is the devil, if we can focus our energy in that direction, we are sure to reach our expected end. So those are the few things you need to think about and worry about. The fact that Christianity, we have an enemy and we need to align ourselves as the army of God. It may seem that we are outnumbered, but we are not outnumbered. So my dear friends, in summary, this is how the journey of Christianity begins. And these are some of the things that take place. There are unbelievers or non-Christians, and then there are Christians, okay? And it appears that Christians are losing out in the fight, but it is not so. God has a way out. Thank you very much. We'll meet in our next video.